real-life best friends who created a podcast to kick off your weekend. I'm Carla Marie.
And I'm Anthony. We're the hosts of My Day Friday, two Jersey kids who packed up everything and moved to Seattle to chase their dream of hosting a morning show.
On our My Day Friday podcast, we talk about everything.
Relationships, annoying wedding trends,
and all the random conversations you'd have with your friends. You can even join in on the convo.
Listen and follow on the iHeartRadio app or subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
This is Incredible Health with Dr. David Vitko.
Good morning, my friends. I am so glad to be here with you today. It's a slick and chilly day out there if you haven't been outside yet. And I'll tell you what, it's been up and down weather lately, hasn't it? We've had some nice days in the last week, and now this snow and yuck out there. And I was happy to just make it here this morning. And I was running late, I'll admit. Usually I'm one of these guys, my parents taught me to be on time, ahead of time usually. And I always kid around, when they had an appointment to come into my office to get their back worked on, they would have an appointment for 11:30 and they'd be there at 10:30. That's just the way they were, and they were always ahead of schedule. And I'm the same way, pretty much. I got that same habit, but today, I admit I was running behind. And I'll tell you, I'm not going to just blame it on the cancer thing, but, esophageal cancer so far to me has been brutal. And it is up and down, and psychologically, physically, and some days I don't know which way to turn. But, it's easy to get down, folks. It's easy to get down. I know there's some other folks out there that are fighting illness. It's easy to let yourself get down. Don't do it. When you feel that negativity creeping in, you need to pump yourself up. You need to find something positive. Yesterday, for me, it was, pretty great thing. I was laying around as lately in the last few weeks. I've lost some energy here, and I'm working on that. I had an iron infusion, and that I think is starting to have some effect. But I don't have my energy that I had before. But anyway, I'm, laying on a couch, just resting, watching a show, and I started thinking about the book. I think it was Norman Cousins wrote. Was it Laughter Be Your Medicine, or I forget what the name of the book actually was. But I found myself laughing at a show that I had probably seen 20 times before, and but I thought, it's a good thing because I was cutting loose. So many times I find myself being critical watching these TV programs, and just, being hypercritical of them. And because so many of them I think are really poorly written, but or not funny in a good way. But anyway, so yesterday I had some good belly laughs, and I think that was a good thing to help get me back on track. So, I think on the way in this morning, I figured out the longest red lights in the area. And I'm sure there's a couple of people with some thoughts on this too. But, coming in from Columbiana to the radio station, the red lights at Western Reserve Road and South Avenue at the bridge, and the red light at 224 and 680. Those two red lights are ridiculous on Sunday mornings. And I think I sat at the one here at 224 and 680. I must have sat there for 8 minutes before the thing changed. It's ridiculous. Somebody should fix that. But anyway, those are my two least favorite red lights in town. Maybe you have one too. So if you have something you want to call in about today, you want to talk about your health, I want to talk about pain relief because that's been at the top of my list here over the last really month or so in controlling my pain. If I can do that and do it in a way that doesn't damage my body in other ways, then I'm going to do okay, I think. So, I'll take, if you're interested in calling in and talking about, what you do for pain relief, Don't call me with stupid stuff, but, like the lady that was doing the show just before this and pain, as soon as you take it, it cures everything. That's just silly. But, anyway, I'm interested in pain relief and, I've been working on some different things to, try to keep my pain under control and still move forward trying to get healthier. That's a tough combination. Because pain relievers in general are not good for us, even the over-the-counter ones. In some ways, they can be okay for us, but in many ways, they interfere with our body's normal function. And that's not good in the overall picture. So if you want to call in, 330-729-9977. That's 729-9977, and I'll be happy to talk to you about anything, because I'm kind of wide open today. This week has been a whirlwind for me, and if you read my Facebook page, you might have seen that I plan to make an announcement today that is pretty profound for me, and I'm just going to go ahead and tell you right now that I've gotten to the point with fighting this cancer where I've decided to close my office. It's just I don't have the energy to keep up with patients and life and everything in general. I go into my office and I can see two patients and I need to lay down for 15 or 20 minutes, and I might see another one and lay down for a half an hour, and it's just getting ridiculous. And so I've gotten to the point, folks, where that I had to make that. I have to prioritize. I think this show to me is a priority still, because I want to share with people what I'm going through and what may help them somewhere down the road, or possibly right now. And that's why I give you the opportunity to call in. You want to talk about things, your health issues, I'm happy to speak with you about it. I may not have all the answers. I'm sure I don't, but I can help you find them. But anyway, so after 34 years of practice, I don't know if you can really understand, unless you've retired from a job that you've done for 30 years or more, how difficult it is mentally to walk away. That's I felt bad for the nice lady at Social Security office in East Liverpool when I was talking to her on Friday, and I was in tears, and I think I had her in tears. But got to move on, and so what I'm trying to do is take the old adage of life gave you a lemon, let's make some lemonade out of it. And I'm working on that. And so, I see it as God is sending me in a new direction. And it's my job to go that direction. So it's hard for me to do this, and so for all my old patients that have been with me for 30 years or more, I apologize. But all right, let's get past that. I apologize for breaking down too. So, all right, so a lot of ups and downs. Get up in the morning, the pain's there, and you got to take care of the pain. If you can do something to quell the pain, the day's not too bad other than no energy. But the iron infusion that I got actually seems to be making a small difference for me. I may need to get another one, and I want to start exercising more to help build my strength. But I'm to the point now where what I try to do is 2 or 3 or 4 times a day, get down on the floor and do some push-ups or do a few crunches or do something and try to add to it a little bit every couple of days or so. And so that's what I'm doing exercise-wise right now to try to strengthen myself. You can also deplete yourself, so that's a fine line that you walk. I also struggle with the issue of not really being hungry. And it's not that I despise food like I did when I was doing the high-fat diet, but not hungry most of the time, and even when it's time to eat. So I've had to put myself on a schedule of eating regardless of whether I want to eat or not. And thankfully, the swallowing is better, and I'm able to swallow better, and I enjoy food slightly more, but there's still just not, I just don't have like a lot of desire for food. Like I used to be able to, be watching television and think, that commercial came on. Oh, that looks good, or that looks good, and nothing appeals to me now. It's a strange thing. Let's see. Denny's calling in. Let's talk to Denny here real quick. Good morning, Denny. It's Dr. Vitko.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, you were talking about an iron deficiency, and I don't know if you got the word, but I heard you talk about it, and I talked to Morris. But black-eyed peas on the bag has 15% iron, so
right.
I guess that means it's high in iron. And you like to make soup, and I always start with a chicken broth base, and then especially when you're not really hungry for meat and potatoes, soup is really good, and that might be your avenue to get you nourishment in soups. And you said you like soups too.
That's been my avenue, Denny, for several months. And you're right, and it's a good way to go. And I don't do a lot of meats in the soups. I do use some. I do eat some chicken soup, and I've even eaten some beef stock type soups. And because those are places where there are high amounts of iron. There's an issue that happens in the body, however, with some people where no matter how much iron you take in, your body will not metabolize it and produce more red blood cells. And there are technical medical names for that, and there are different conditions where that happens. But there are some people, just like, for instance, me with cancer, where my red blood count just is not coming up, and my iron levels would not come up no matter how many supplements I took, no matter how many. Cream of wheat is another good source of iron. It's like 50% of your daily, what you need daily for an average person. So there's a lot of different foods out there, but the problem you get into is when you get into this situation where your body just says, nah, not going to do that. It's kind of a scary time, but I'll tell you, and here, I'm always talking about the folks that local hospitals and things like that. And the ladies at the, I don't know if they call it the infusion center or where you get a transfusion, or it's not where the chemo center is at St. E's on Belmont. But they're, I think, the infusion center, very nice ladies up there. And so my wife and I were there for a couple of hours, and I actually enjoyed the visit. I wish I didn't have to be there, but there are so many great people around here and so many wonderful professionals. It's amazing. So, Denny, when you need iron, if for people out there that can't absorb it, you need to talk to your doctor about it, because the infusion is a good way to go.
Well, maybe in the soup content, it might work for you. I buy the black-eyed peas dried. They'll store forever, and they'll cook down in soup a lot quicker than a larger bean. And the more you simmer it and cook it, the softer it will get. And it's the size of a soybean, and it's a white bean with a black dot in it.
Right.
And
I've had black-eyed peas before. Yeah. And
okay, I didn't know if you
down.
did. I just discovered it about 3 or 4 years ago, because we never ate that stuff when I was growing up.
Yeah, well, we actually lived down south when I was in chiropractic school, and black-eyed peas are real popular there.
Okay.
And
if I find anything else with big high iron in it, I'll let you know.
Yeah, let me know.
Sometimes people get too much iron in their blood, though. And if you give blood, that'll cleanse your blood with iron if you have too much iron, I've heard.
Well, I'll tell you, the blood donation thing, I am all for most people, but I think that got me into a pickle. I think that got my iron low to begin with, because
you don't want to give blood if you already have an iron problem.
Yeah, it had nothing to do. I didn't have an iron problem at the time that I knew of, but it came on afterwards, and I think it was something I was pushing my diet a little too far, and and experimenting with my diet, which I've done for years. And now I don't see that as the root cause of the esophageal cancer. But I do see a a lengthy iron deficiency as certainly being a possibility, and I actually have studies right in front of me that I was going to talk about a little bit here later today if I get a chance.
Okay. And in downtown Rock Creek, we on Sunday morning, if we have a red light, we just look both ways and drive through.
Yeah, I almost did that this morning, but Pullman police would have been on my right, and so
yeah, you can't do it down there.
No, they have no sense of humor. Yeah.
No, they don't. They don't. We're fun-loving people up here.
Yeah. All right, thanks for calling, Denny. Have a great day.
Okay, bye.
So anyway, so the iron thing now, since we talked about that a little bit, I should go on with that because there are some people I know who are tired and just can't figure out why they're tired all the time. And they may very well have even a subacute type iron deficiency where they just are a little bit low on iron and maybe their red blood cell count is low because of that. Excuse me. And that red blood count is so important because don't forget your red blood cells are what deliver oxygen to every cell in your body. And, as soon as you start doing something, some kind of activity where your cells are using up oxygen, and as soon as those cells start to run low on oxygen, you'll get tired. And that all stems back to, for some people, iron deficiency or some type of iron deficiency anemia. And it could also be a B12 deficiency. And there are other things that can contribute to it. But there's no reason to drag your butt around day in and day out and have no energy. Even a guy in my situation where I'm fighting cancer and over the last few weeks, pneumonia as well, which thankfully I see my mom on the upswing for that. But, cancer knocks you down no matter whether you do chemotherapy, radiation, or whether you are doing the things that I'm doing, which are just natural things for the most part. And, it knocks you down. It knocks your body down. And so even somebody like me that is under a lot of physical stress because of this, I can still find some relief through the treatment that's available out there. So there's people that are probably going, that guy's nuts. He's doing his own treatment. And, I guess I'm not the average person that would choose to take care of their own cancer. But I have some really great MDs as friends who are guiding me on that as well, too. And I take their guidance for sure. And there are things that they know about that the average person doesn't know about, that I don't know about. And, it's good to listen. It's good to listen to other people. And so, that this last week, I'm glad I got the iron, infusion, and that is again starting to make a difference. Unfortunately, my body's so tired, so run down, and I'm hoping it has enough energy to, get me past this cancer thing. I see signs from time to time that the cancer is improving, and there are days that I'm so hopeful because I'm thinking to myself, wow, today's a good day. This is really good. Then I'll get a couple of days that are really bad. And but overall, in the overall picture, there are some things that have improved dramatically, like my ability to swallow. But the energy thing has got me sapped. And there's just no way I can go on and keep practicing like that. It's my job is actually pretty physical during the day. If you haven't been to a chiropractor before, it can be pretty physical. It might look like a wrestling match to some people, but it's physical all day long. And normally I would spend 8, 10, 12 hours in my office most days, and we were down to where we could only do a couple hours a day. And at that, we couldn't keep it going. So we're anyway. We're moving forward, and I'm going to try to make something good come out of all this. And this iron thing is one of them because I think there's a lot of people out there suffering needlessly who might not have even looked at the iron possibility. I was going to say the iron angle, and a lot of people would get the humor in that, but or the angle iron, I guess. But the iron the idea that your iron could be slightly low is something that a lot of people could take care of on their own. Your doctor might just tell you, take an iron supplement, and pay attention to how you take it and when you take it, and whether it tells you to take it with food or not, or on an empty stomach or whatever, and pay attention to the dosage, because with iron, all those things are very important. And the most important thing is to make sure first that that is your problem, because you don't want to take iron if you don't have a deficiency, because you can definitely cause some imbalances in your blood and some other issues to happen that are not good if you get too much iron. So we got another call here on line 1 with Shirley. Good morning, Shirley. It's Dr. Vitko. How can I help you?
Hi, doctor. I don't know if you have a dog, but, if you don't, I recommend you get yourself one, because he could pick you up a whole lot. And, just getting outside, and if you have to take that dog for a walk just around the block or down the street, it could kind of pick up sometimes when you're not feeling good or just kind of feeling down, just getting that dog outside. And sometimes they make you laugh, sometimes some of the stupid things that they do, they make you laugh.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think about the commercial on television, and it chokes me up every time I think about it, with the little girl in the hospital bed. And she says, "More treatment today?" And the nurse says different treatment today, and the dog comes in, and it's just a cute dog, and it's
it does. They do. They make you laugh. Now, I had a German Shepherd, and he's no longer with me, but I miss him. And my husband keeps saying, "You got to get another dog." And I said, I'm not ready yet for another dog, because I miss him too much. And
I understand.
I'm not ready yet. But
we have 2 cats, by the way. We're cat people.
Well, maybe you need a dog, because I'm going to say cats are fine, but they're kind of, I don't know, just kind of lazy.
Oh, but trust me, yeah, I get that about cats.
Dog makes you, and he was a German Shepherd, and he was just so cute, just so lively, and he makes, they do crazy things. They're almost like a person in a way. I recommend it. And another thing about the food you were talking about. I don't know if your wife is much of a cook or anything, but sometimes a nice red vegetable soup, beef vegetable soup, is really good. And it has a good flavor, and it has a lot of vegetables in it, and a lot of vitamins in it.
I agree. I agree. The problem with esophageal cancer is my tumor is very sensitive, and so anything red or spicy is no good.
Not good. Okay.
No, so, yeah, but that's okay. I appreciate that.
This is the first time I've turned your show on, simply because the program I usually listen to is 1390, and I don't know what they did, took my show off today, and so I changed, switched stations, and this is the first time I've
Well, I hope you stick with me. It's we're going to try to help some people down the road here. I am, by the way, I didn't mention this early. I am a chiropractor by training. I'm not a medical physician, but
You're a good guy.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I do study all of health, and I have for 35 years or more, 38 years. And so I do have things to share, and I don't share things with people that I think are going to lead them down the wrong path. And you know what?
Well, I don't want to interrupt you, but my dad had two doctors. He had his medical doctor, and he had his chiropractor. And he would say, "Well, I got to go see Dr. Strobel today," and that was his chiropractor. So he swore by him.
Yeah, I've had a lot of patients over the years in that same situation. Thanks so much for calling, Shirley, and keep listening. Thank you.
Good luck to you, Doctor.
Thanks. So long. We'll be right back, folks, in just a couple of minutes with more of the show.
Dr. David Vitko is a chiropractic physician, inventor, and author. His patented Backtrack back massager has been relieving patients' minor back pain at home for over 20 years. His book, Perfect Cholesterol in Just 3 Weeks Without Drugs, has helped hundreds of people to greatly reduce cholesterol by eating correct foods. Most lower total cholesterol 60 points in just 3 weeks. You can see and purchase the Backtrack and the Perfect Cholesterol book at drdavidvitko.com. That's drdavidvitko.com.
Severe weather led to a serious crash in Medina County.
Wadsworth police responded to a crash on I-76 near State Route 94 about 8:30 Saturday morning. Reports saying a car collided with a school bus. 3 individuals taken to Akron Children's Hospital from their injuries. Their status not currently known. I'm Kyle Cornell.
It's a warning shot from an Ohio judge that could help quell violence in upcoming political rallies. In Cincinnati, a judge has sentenced a man to 4 months in jail for punching a Trump protester at a summer rally. That man jumped from a passing truck and seriously wounded the 61-year-old with punches to his eyes that required surgery. Dallas Frazier is a 30-year-old from Georgetown, Kentucky, who told the judge he'd lost his home and 6-figure income because of the incident. He was found guilty of misdemeanor assault. I'm Sandy Collins.
Our next update at 10. From the O'Charley's Digital Studios. $9.99 menu. 9 great meals. 1 great price. O'Charley's.
Need a furnace checkup? Call Mazza Heating and Cooling in Girard, your factory authorized Bryant dealer.
Cloudy today, a chance of snow showers, a high in the low 20s. Tonight, snow showers, areas of blowing snow and a low in the mid-teens. Snow showers likely Monday with a high in the mid-20s.
Message and data rates may apply. Earning your degree from one of the top business schools in the country might sound impossible to fit into your workload. But what if there were a business degree that advanced your career skills and gave you access to world-renowned faculty, leaders, and mentors all on your schedule? One that opened doors to some of the most influential CEOs, tech companies, law firms, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders. And what if you could earn that degree in as little as 16 months, 100% online? Find out more. Text TEST to 79645. Start on the path to earning your MBA or Business Analytics Master's degree online from the W.P. Carey School of Business at Arizona State University today. Learn more about the graduate programs from the top-ranked W.P. Carey School of Business at Arizona State University, offered 100% online. Text TEST to 79645. That's TEST to 79645.
Your house becomes a home with Window Depot.
Valley homeowners trust Window Depot of Youngstown. Our triple pane windows offer unmatched beauty and energy efficiency.
To the hundreds of customers who have trusted us to remodel their home, we say thank you. Hi, it's Rich from Window Depot. Did you know all of our products are made right here in Ohio and Western Pennsylvania? Stay tuned to learn more about our current special offers.
Right now, it's Window Depot's 60-60-60 sale. Save 60% on installation of new replacement windows. Ask about payments as low as $60 per month, senior and military discounts. Plus a bonus, the first 10 callers to call 1-800-433-8577 receive a $60 Walmart gift card with your replacement window purchase. Valley homeowners, call 1-800-433-8577. That's 1-800-433-8577. Call now.
From iHeartRadio, #1 for podcasts, Dear Young Rockers.
Remember how the 14-year-old version of yourself felt? If you could write to that kid, what would you say? I'm Chelsea Arson. Join me on my podcast, Dear Young Rocker, where each week I write a letter to my younger self as she brings us back into the intensity of adolescence. Falling in love with your favorite song the way only a teenager can. Getting up the nerve to join a band.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-276-1640. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-276-1640. That's 800-276-1640 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-276-1640. 800-276-1640.
Welcome back to Incredible Health with Dr. David Vitko.
All right. So staying kind of with the positive mindset, which I sometimes get sidetracked there. I start talking about bad things. But so thanks, Shirley, for the call and great suggestions. And we try to do all those things. And I know she's a new listener, basically. But the soup thing, and Denny, too. The soup thing, this time of year, soup is a great thing to make sure that you get good nutrition every day. Make a big pot of soup when you're making it. It's easy enough to make it big and keep it in the refrigerator and, scoop a cup out and heat it up whenever you just need something to eat. And you're going to eat something healthy then instead of grabbing for some chips or pretzels or something. So one of the other announcement that I have today that's more on the upside. And again, we try to make good things out of whatever happens. But we got something really great that's happening in our family. And I wasn't going to say anything on the air, but we've talked about it, and I guess it's okay to do so now. And a little over, I guess almost 2 years ago, when I started my show, I had my daughter on the show and interviewed her. And she wasn't aware of the fact that it was kind of a setup, but I was interviewing her to get her opinion on animal welfare, and because she's very involved in the ASPCA and some of these groups, and she loves animals, and Callie's a sweetheart. And so I had her on. I was interviewing her, and little did she know that, of course, she did know that her boyfriend Ned was in the studio with us, and he proposed to her at that time. And that was a really great show. And I still have people tell me I go back and listen to that because it was so much fun. And now I'm happy to announce that in July we have a new grandson coming from that union. Kelly and Ned were married this past April, and they are just a fantastic couple, and they're going to be great parents, and my in-laws are wonderful people, and we're just so excited. This will be the first grandchild in our family, and so my daughter Kelly is pregnant. So I wanted to announce that. So a lot of good things happen in life every day, and we just have to look around and try to appreciate them. And when somebody does something for us, show your appreciation. It's so easy, and not only that, it lifts somebody else's day and probably makes their day. It doesn't take much, really. All right, we got a phone call on line one, and let's talk to Ray. Good morning, Ray. It's Dr. Vitko. How can I help you?
Good morning, Dr. Vitko. This is the second time I talked to you, and it was very short the first time. The reason I called is because you sound very much like me. Your thinking is similar. Your discipline's probably the same as mine. Only I've had many pieces to my puzzle, and sometimes when a person has a few pieces missing out of the puzzle, they never do get the true picture.
You're right.
What I called about this was to tell you that what you're doing wrong with something I heard.
Okay.
You have fluoride and chloride in the water. When you take a hot shower or a hot bath, all of your pores open up, everything, even around your neck, and they absorb those chemicals so easily. So if you chill down this, or if you have a process which your water is is corrected, fluoride and chloride. Fluoride will evaporate in 24 hours. Chloride, there's only one way to get rid of that, and I don't want to go there because it's for fish, in fish tanks. It's a dechlor. But my point is that if you have something to handle it, and you can take your warm bath and your pores will open up, and you will not absorb it. But if you don't, well, then you're actually poisoning your whole body uniformly.
Mm-hmm. And
I'm go ahead.
Well, I'm kind of curious, Ray, what your background is on that. Like, how did you come up with that? Are you a chemist, or are you just really interested and studied? I'm not criticizing any which direction.
Yes.
I'm just curious.
It just seems like kindergarten to me. It's simply as everyone should know this. Like I've interviewed people who sleep on a electric blanket, and they leave the blanket on all night underneath them. We are DC. The Earth is DC powered, and if you have a field of AC underneath you, you are messing with 1/3 of 1 volt that your heart pulses on, and your brain, your whole body is electric. Body electric. Becker wrote a good book on that, The Body Electric. And I started off early with Zen microbiotic cooking, and it taught me all about I Ching, and you can apply that just about anything. And I still have that book around too, but it's all in my mind now. What is the vegetables, which are yang and which are yin, and it'll confuse a lot of people, and it usually does when they put it on the radio. So I don't call in that much. I'm a better listener.
Yeah, well, I am. I appreciate and I appreciate your thoughts. The one thing I'll throw out on that, and the thing that I always think about, I mean, you can microanalyze every aspect of life and everything that we come into contact with, including the air that we breathe, and to nail it down and say this is causing that, or I think is a stretch. I really do.
It's not a singularity. It is a mix. The soup, I'll agree with you on that. I grow my own banana nut squash, and there's about a dozen of them in the closet, and they're stable for a whole year. Mm-hmm. I can make soup out of that. I can make a pie that smells like, it tastes like pumpkin pie. Mm-hmm. So that's just a little tiny piece of it. The soup goes through me pretty easy. I'm 70, I'll be 78 in May 9th, and I still do my push-ups that I did in the military, and I was up to 180. Really? And I was pretty proud of myself. I dropped it down to 40 now.
Yeah. That's still good. Yeah.
My body is good. I would like to talk to you personally, because there's things I can't put over the phone, like magnetics, and certainly that's what your body is. Every cell in your body is magnetic, and it spins counterclockwise.
Yeah.
And if you mess with that, well, then you're fighting yourself. But, and the blood, too much iron, you wind up with a heart problem, too.
No doubt.
There's good sources on all these things. It just isn't coming out of my head. I'm just a mouse on a giant listening to them and different disciplines. And now we're getting cross-disciplines that are either reacting and coming up with better answers. They come from all over the world if you got a computer or a cell phone.
There are a lot of questions, a lot of answers, and to nail things down to make it useful. That's what we try to do. And, but I appreciate your call, and that's, those some interesting things. And,
I had more to say, but
go ahead. Go ahead. You have something else? Another subject?
I hit just some of the high points in my life, and it's not applicable. Everyone is different. Yeah. And in the way you attack things, in the way you approach things, certainly you don't get out the hard tools before you start thinking things over and start moving things too far. Okay, I'm usually talking over people's head, and being that this short conversation is going to go even shorter.
Yeah,
I'm just concerned for you. God is my answer in the end run, because you are rewarded after prayer, even when you pass away. And certainly, I'm 78 pretty soon, and I don't feel it. I don't think it. I was strong. It's just I ever was.
Hey, Ray, isn't it amazing that as complex as things are, it really just comes down to one thing, and that's God. You can make things, and science makes things so complex when they study things at smaller and smaller and smaller levels, and it all comes back to God. And
man has been trying to duplicate God all along here, and that's the way I look at it. So I turn to God right now. I'm closer than I ever was before. And I usually just pray for everyone else, and there's a whole list of people that take about 20 minutes each night, and I don't ask for nothing for myself, and it comes back to you. You know the adage.
Yes.
It reflects what you give.
You're right.
I'd like to leave my number with you, with the man behind the glass.
Yeah, let's do that off air. We'll get one of these guys to write it down. Just hold, hang on there, and we'll get that, Ray. Thanks for calling. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So you guys can, yeah, okay. So and this comes back to, I'm glad Ray called with that, because there are a lot of different things that we should probably be looking at health-wise, because you look at something like my cancer, where does that come from? I mean, I lived probably one of the cleaner lives, of anybody I know, and here I get cancer. I mean, you look at that and you say, well, then we're missing something. Well, obviously, I mean, there probably are a lot of missing pieces of the puzzle, so to speak, that maybe are just in the wrong position right now or something. Maybe need to be moved around. But to figure all of it out is pretty challenging. And I like what, Ray said about, coming back to it really does come back to God. And whether you believe in the scientific end of things, which I do, or you believe in the spiritual end of things, which I do, you can rectify any situation you have, health-wise, spiritually, psychologically, and through God and through prayer and through science. And they paint this big, beautiful picture. It comes together in this picture. And I can tell you that, and I know where Ray's coming from. There are nights when I lay there in bed and not sleeping yet, and I can see a picture that blends all these things together and makes me understand things better. Now, I don't want to get all weird and off the deep end, and because it's possible to do that very easily and lose everybody, and nobody wants to listen anymore. It's because some of the things that I read, some things sound so far out there until you maybe read it again and you think about it. And, things like fluoride and chloride in the water. Well, every dentist would tell you, it's necessary to have fluoride in the water. That's why our teeth are better. I'm not so sure our teeth are better these days. Sugar is the biggest problem we have with teeth. There's no question. Our diets are the biggest underlying issue with teeth. Fluoride does do some things to, stop decay or maybe slow it, but it also has some bad effects on the body. And I can't tell you what those are right now off the top of my head. I haven't studied that for years, but at one time I did study that. And so there are things all around us that are common, that are poisons, that we need to avoid. But we can't. You can't get paranoid about it. And if you start doing that and you start looking at every little thing there is out there that's a possibility to cause this or that, like the chloride on my neck. The odds of it causing esophageal cancer, I think, would be pretty slim. There's probably other things that would be more likely, but who's to say? Who's to say? And it's funny when you go to a medical doctor with an issue, with a question, and you ask them, well, like for me, how did I get this? Well, we don't know. I mean, but you're treating it. Well, yeah, we can treat it. Maybe not as effectively as we'd like to, for sure. But we don't understand what causes it or where it comes from. And that's a humbling thought when we look at how much we don't know. Especially from, even in what I did as a chiropractor. Many things I could do and get, patients would come in with sacroiliac problems or sciatic problems, and I could use a similar treatment for patients and get the same results over and over and over and over. And then I get somebody in with the same symptoms, and I use this 1 or 2 or 3 different treatments that I would use, and I can't get that same result. You know, how is that? Something as simple as what I did, you know, in chiropractic, as compared to like a medical doctor who administers chemotherapy, you know, or radiation. These guys work with information that is just the most finite and most the deepest stuff you could ever get into. I mean, these guys, you know, they start rattling off numbers and concepts and, you know, concoctions and things like that. It's very detailed. Now you look at the bigger picture with that and you say, well, it's no wonder that some cancer patients will respond to this drug and not another one. I mean, even in the simple world of Dr. Vitko's office, where he's treating a sacroiliac joint, he can't get 100% results. You know, and with things like cancer, there's probably many different causes, and you put two things together, like Ray mentioned, fluoride and chloride, you put those two things together, and who knows what the combinations can end up with. It's like taking medication. When you take a medication, there's a certain number of side effects that are accepted with that medication. When you add a second medication or a third medication, the number of side effects potentially multiplies tremendously. And so that's why it's good to try to take care of yourself. Let's eat healthier, let's exercise, and we'll get at least to Ray's age 78 and still doing 40 push-ups a day. This is Dr. Vitko. We'll be right back.
Hey folks, I want to personally endorse one of the best painters you will find anywhere. He does amazing work at a price that truly cannot be beat. His name is Patrick Fry, and he's been painting professionally for over 15 years, residential and commercial. Patrick paints interior, exterior, countertops, kitchen cabinets, decks, and even fences. He is neat, thorough, and fully insured. Call Patrick Fry for a free estimate at 330-423-9663. That's 423-9663.
At Refresh Dental, we believe beautiful smiles begin with a focus on comfort, function, and aesthetics. We're here to help you maintain your oral health for a lifetime. And you'll know it each and every time you look in the mirror. Visit GoRefreshDental.com. Refresh Dental. Healthier teeth, happier you.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-276-1640. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-276-1640. That's 800-276-1640 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-276-1640. 800-276-1640.
The iHeartRadio app is podcasts, music. I can make playlists.
Like a one-stop shop, basically.
So easy to use.
I don't have to think about it. It's just tap here, tap there.
Not only on my phone, but on all 3 of my kids' iPads.
I like to dance to it. I love that it's free, and I get all the music. And then I discovered podcasts.
All the best podcasts are on this app. Totally free.
The iHeartRadio app. Radio, music, podcasts. All free. Free never sounded better. Download the iHeartRadio app today.
Welcome back to Incredible Health with Dr. David Vitko.
All right, we're back. And, I know there's some folks out there that when I talk about spiritual things, when I talk about God, they're turned off and turned away. I know there was a time in my life that I was that way as well. And you might say, yeah, you got cancer now. Of course you found religion. It's like, like somebody that committed murder and then, they're put in prison and all of a sudden they discover God, In some ways that is true, but my life, I was brought up in the Catholic Church and basically have been immersed in, some sort of spirituality my whole life. Sometimes I turned away from it, and other times I've tried to learn from it. And but there are certain passages from the Bible that always kind of stand out to me, and I love this one from Matthew because it speaks to a lot of different parts of life. And every minister I've ever met will talk to the spiritual part of this passage, but to me, I think it talks about many aspects of life, or can talk about many aspects of life, and that is the narrow and wide gates. Enter through the narrow gate. For wide is the gate, and broad is the road that leads to destruction, and many enter through it. But small is the gate, and narrow the road that leads to life, and only a few find it. That's some pretty profound stuff, whether you read it in the Bible or whether it came from somewhere else. It applies to life in so many ways. And, there's no harm in trying to improve your life in as many ways you can and to make a better contribution to this earth for the short time that we're here. And the Bible's a good place to start. It is. So, Ray, thanks for calling that. You got me onto a subject there, and someday we should have a discussion. I'm sure it would be good. But, so listen, folks, got some couple more months of winter coming up. Stay healthy, make soups, eat healthfully. That's half the battle. Get a little bit of exercise. You don't have to, you don't have to go to the gym every day or anything. And if you're looking for a good source of information on diet, my book, Perfect Cholesterol in Just 3 Weeks Without Drugs, is still available online. You wouldn't be able to come to my office. My office is now closed as of the beginning of this month, and that's just the way that's got to go. But the book is still available online. You can get it online through like the ebooks. And if you want to call my office, and my office number will be forwarded to my cell phone for a period of time, and that is 330-482-9550. We can still hook you up with a book that way. It's 482-9550. So, just want to say for all you folks that have been my patients for 30 years plus, thank you. It's been good. And hopefully I'll still be around town, and we're going to still see each other, and because you're great people. And that makes me think of Columbiana being named, or what is it, the nicest town, or Columbiana having the nicest people. Definitely true. And I love you all. And so, God willing, we'll be back here next week. And thanks for listening, folks, and have a great weekend.